You want healthy, glowing skin, but with all the products, trends, and conflicting advice, it's hard to know what actually works. I understand. I am Dr. Tina Meder, a former cardiologist and specialist in the skincare development and cosmetic safety expert. I've spent years studying the science of skin. Welcome to Meder Beauty podcast, where we uncover what really matters, break down the science, and give you real expert-backed skincare advice. Whether you're looking to achieve radiant, healthy skin, curious about anti-aging, or want to understand what's really in your product, you are in the right place. Rooted in science and the truth about what your skin actually needs, we'll have in-depth conversations with leading dermatologists, medical experts, and skincare brand founders to bring you the latest innovations, evidence-based insights, and industry secrets that truly make a difference. We are so happy you are here. So let's go! Welcome to the Skin We Live In podcast, our Meder Beauty podcast, when I'm speaking about skincare, skin, active longevity, and everything what is related to this topic. And today I want to try to answer the provocative question. Is it possible to detox the skin and detox the body? The word detox is everywhere, in the beauty industry, in the spa industry, and very probably you've been tempted by some detox intravenous dripping, or detox spa 5-day course, or simply detox procedure for your face and for your body. And usually it means some miracle teas, or enemas, or green smoothie, or juice cleansing, or something like this. So something, somehow, should take toxins out of your body, via your intestine, or via your pores, or in some other way. Does it work this way physiologically? Sorry for bringing bad news. No. We have very efficient detox system functioning in our body. And yes, our gut and intestines, they are part of it. But also the liver, the kidney, and our sweat glands. That's why it is so important to eat well, to drink enough of the water, and also to not block your sweating process, because that's how our body eliminates toxins. But also we have two very efficient detox systems in our body on the cellular level. Our cells can detox themselves, and this process called autophagy and apoptosis. Autophagy, it is some type of the cell self-cleaning and recycling service. It's not only when the cell is cleaning itself. It is also this type of, how we speak about the sustainable behavior, recycle, reuse. That's what we do on the cellular level in our body. But apoptosis, it is different process. Apoptosis is this programmed cell death. And if we're speaking about our luxury skin hotel metaphor, which I love a lot, and if you've been listening to my previous episode about active longevity, about hallmarks of aging, or epigenetic skincare, or about our power station of the skin, you're probably used to this metaphor. The skin aging management, it's like a management of the luxury hotel, when you have a lot of departments and you should manage a lot of things in the same time. And speaking about this metaphor, if apoptosis and autophagy of the skin, there are some types of the housekeeping and HR team all together in the same time. Autophagy, it's more the housekeeping, but it is some type of very efficient elite housekeeping system. So the skin can clean itself, but it does it in very intelligent and very smart way. So autophagy literally means self-eating. It is a well-controlled process when the cell robs damaged proteins, some broken organelles inside the cell, including leaking battery of power stations of mitochondria. When they're tired, when they cannot function properly, the cells just rub them up, pack some kind of the small parcel and put it on the membrane and just throw it off from the cell, sends it to the small organelle called lysosome, and breaks it down to the pieces which are not harmful for other cells and for the extracellular matrix space. And the body can easily and safely get rid of this type, let's say, rubbish or trash. So there are different types of the autophagy, and it can be macroautophagy, which is the most interesting for us when we speak about, let's say, big pieces of trash, which we should get rid of in our luxury skin hotel. But also it can be microautophagy for small pieces. And let's say in our young hotel, when we are very young, fresh, and energetic, this process works perfectly. So it's like in the new hotel. Everything is cleaned. Everything is shining. Even the small damage of the glass or from the bed clothing, it's immediately noticed. The housekeeping is informed and it's changed and replaced. Also, it's not only about these main things, but about small things as well, because like in the hotel, when you see some old brochures staying on the table somewhere in the corner of the lobby, yes, it's not damaging, but it doesn't improve the image. It doesn't help hotel to function better. And at the end of the day, when you see too many of these old brochures, some piece of papers, some forgotten pencil, and something else, it creates the image of the hotel which is not well maintained. It's not a luxury anymore. The autophagy works as a housekeeping, but in the same time, they're also constantly decluttering the storage room. Yes, we need the storage room, and sometimes we just keep things there just in case we need them in the future. But it is the work of the autophagy to be sure then we will not use them. And at some point, hello, Marie Kondo is in town, and we declutter everything and leave only some cells material, which gives our cells spark and the joy of life and helps them to function. When macroautophagy is failing, what we see? Our cleaning budget is cut, apparently. So starting from some small points like this old brochure somewhere in the corner, and finishing by the storage room, which started to clutter more and more until the moment when it looks like a perfect hoarding example, our hotels start to look used, tired, and start to fail. Because when you have broken equipment piled up in closets, when you have trash staying in service corridor just for today or for tomorrow or for another week, when you see the storage room with well-expired stock and with no place for the fresh materials, tired staff who are just have no time, no space for cleaning, and it doesn't function anymore at some point. Autophagy, it is one of the primary hallmarks of aging. So it starts from the very beginning. We need housekeeping service from the very first day and very first minute of the existence of our skin hotel. But it starts to fail little by little very early. Just we don't see it because we have a lot of storage room. We have a lot of these corridors and they're empty. But when this autophagy is properly failed, we are coming to the next step of aging. It's like a domino effect, as you remember. And the accumulation of different hallmarks of aging leads to the integration of all of them, and domino fails. We see visible signs of aging. In skin, there are wrinkles or dark spots or loss of skin elasticity. Dark spots, actually, that's a perfect example of the failed autophagy. It's literally cells which have not been cleaned properly. They're pigment cells who store too much of pigment. If autophagy works well, these excessive pigments is just eliminated from the cell. If not, we see too much of pigment, we see the dark spot. So cells become cluttered. When it's cluttering, the energy drops. And we come to the moment when our cells cannot produce collagen because it has no place for collagen anymore. Our cells cannot function properly. And all this process, they are leading for the skin aging. The hotel still operates. We are still alive. But it doesn't operate by the standard of the luxury hotel. So autophagy, it is not just cosmetic, it's not just visual. It is a core protective mechanism of our body. Why it is so important? Because you remember mitochondria, they are like battery, and when the battery are leaking, they are leaking toxins all around them. Reactive oxygen, spicy, free radicals. And we have some defragmented proteins, like old collagen, what was defragmented by the ultraviolet, by free radicals. And all these fragments of the collagen, they are all around us without leaving the space for the fresh collagen, which creates the skin architecture, which builds the walls of our hotel and makes our skin tightened and strong. And failed autophagy is one of the best proven reason of skin aging. And not only aging, unfortunately, it also makes our skin and our body more vulnerable and more susceptible to diseases. And in the first place, the cancer. And that's not only about the cells, it is about the extracellular matrix as well. For the extracellular matrix, the space between the cells, we need enzymes. Just eliminating, destroying, defragmenting the failed proteins, different toxins, and everything what is unwanted and not needed in this extra space. And actually, it is absolutely the same mechanism. First of all, our cells, they're producing these enzymes, and actually the same type of cells, which produces collagen, produces enzymes to get rid of old collagen. So it's some kind of really self-operating system created by the Mother Nature, almost ideally. But when our autophagy doesn't work, it doesn't work properly, we have less of enzymes, but also our cells, they lose this ability to rub this trash and rubbish and to eliminate it from the space. So that's a question of self-functioning. That's a question of the clean extracellular space. And also it is a question of the energy. Because everything in our body, all processes in our body are energy dependent. So we need well-functioning mitochondria to get our housekeeping energetic, because our stuff should have a lot of energy to go for the cleaning, to go for this ideal, perfect housekeeping. But in the same time, if the housekeeping is not good enough, we don't have enough of energy because it damages mitochondria. And it creates these vicious circles between different hallmarks. So now about cells death or apoptosis. Apoptosis, it is a Greek word, literally meaning programmed cellular suicide. And in the cellular world, it is good thing. It's nothing tragic about it. It's controlled, energy-dependent process when the cells essentially commit the suicide because it is somehow, let's say, anthropomorphically, then it is not useful for the society of other cells. So the cell can shrink itself, chops its DNA to the very little fragment, package all these contents also by itself. It's all programmed process which cells made when it takes a signal, then it is not useful anymore, and put it in the small vesicles and gets carried to the immune cells, and immune cells get rid of all the cells fragment. And so we have new space for the fresh cells, for our new staff member coming from our training academy, from stem cells, if we have enough of them. And these fresh new cells replaces the old one and start to function better. In the hotel metaphor, apoptosis is very polite but very firm HR who could fire any one of staff members if it is no hope to get them back on track. And this HR doesn't start from the firing process. First of all, it would be some letters and official warnings and discussion and the new training and the cleaning, and only if everything failed. If the staff member is absolutely hopeless. So HR fire it and does it very efficiently. So literally give it a box with organelles and carry until the door. The whole idea of the apoptosis, when the apoptosis works well, the whole idea, then the cells after its death doesn't spill inflammatory content or toxins everywhere. The process should be fast and clean. So maybe this worker just repeatedly breaking some equipment. Maybe this worker leaking confidential information. And maybe this worker just created some criminal alliance and causing the real dangerous situation for the hotel. And we call it cancer. So our self-defense against the cancer is very much based on the autophagy and apoptosis mechanisms. So these cells, they live quietly, and biologically apoptosis removes cells with severe DNA damage, remove cancer cells from the skin, eliminate precancerous cells when they see them it's no way to repair it before it became tumor. And also apoptosis sculpts tissues after different type of damage or trauma, maintaining healthy turnover in the skin. Actually, when we speak about our skin renewal, we are speaking about this programmed cell death because this keratinocytes from the basal membrane of the superficial layer of the skin, of the epidermis, they are happily traveling on the surface, but they are dying in this travel. When they arrive on the surface of the skin, they build this brick and mortar barrier wall, but it's built from dead cells, not from the living cells. So it's all around us. Our body functions constantly renewing cells. And this renewal is very different and has different speed in different organs. As you probably heard, and our skin is renewing for in 28 days, but it is actual only for the superficial skin layers, for the epidermis, because fibroblasts, cells which are producing collagen, hyaluronic acid, elastin, and clean up the deeper layer of the skin, they are much more long-living. Melanocytes, pigment cells, they can live as long as we are alive. Like nervous cells, they are extremely long-living. So not everything in our body is renewed constantly. For example, we are born with some structures of nervous system which cannot be renewed properly. And women are born with eggs ready to be fertilized, and they will not renew when this egg storage will be finished. We will enter the menopause, and so on. But our skin, our liver, and some other organs, they are renewing quite fast. And autophagy and the apoptosis process, they are closely connected. So autophagy coming first, trying to clean, trying to repair, trying literally to save stressed, intoxicated, damaged cells. But if this damage is too severe, or it is chronic, or it leads to the danger to the cells around it, we go for HR, and HR fires this member of our team. So it's go to the programmed cell death, to the apoptosis. So the safety hierarchy is first you repair and recycle, and only if it doesn't work, you remove. How it works in the real life? in our skin. What are the process which triggers autophagy and apoptosis? First of all, the ultraviolet. So when we bring the ultraviolet and the pigmentation of the skin in the story, we ask the question which sounds a little bit unusual. Can we detox the sun damage? And actually, yes. The answer is yes, it is positive. Our cells can detoxify our skin from the sun damage until the some point. It is impossible to do in 100%, especially if the sun damage was severe. But if it was mild, not repetitive, and short, okay, a couple of hours, your skin been pink, but tomorrow you will be careful, and this time on holiday you will protect your skin better. Your cells still can detoxify skin from damaged cells, but the damage was done. And older we are, more difficult it will be, because as you understand, the autophagy, it is a part of the hallmarks of aging. It's one of the primary hallmarks of aging. It works incredibly well in the first years of our life. Still, if the damage is severe and you should go for the apoptosis, it could leave traces. It's literally biological scars. And it will be some bills that probably you should pay in your 30s or in your 40s. And it will define the characteristic of your aging. But if you damage your skin with the ultraviolet in your 40s, that's very probably the cell's detoxification process will not be efficient enough. Still, our body will try. So how it works? Ultraviolet radiation creates reactive oxygen spicy substances, literally free radicals. Free radicals, they are damaging DNA of our cells, they are damaging power station of our cells, mitochondria, and also they create this white inflammatory noise, like multiple fire alarms just crying all around in the skin. And it damages and disturbs multiple pathways of signaling in the skin. So it really disables the communication between cells. In response of all the signals, this fire alarm was going crazy and DNA is damaged, that a lot of dangerous signals in our skin activate the process of the autophagy. And activated autophagy start to remove damaged organelles and proteins to help repair. But first, our cells should diagnose how severe the damage is. Should they call for the apoptosis HR, or they can try to save the situation. So it takes time. Even the mild sun damage take about 5-7 days to repair properly. And this repair process is energy dependent. You need a lot of energy for this elite housekeeping and for HR's work if needed. So you should eat well and you should sleep a lot. The best way to repair your skin after the sun damage, it is go to bed. Eat some antioxidant-rich food and go to sleep. If autophagy works well, all these ultraviolet damaged components of our cells, including power station, are cleared efficiently, reducing potential photo damage and reducing potential photo aging. It takes about 1 week to understand how well it works. If 1 week later your skin feels comfortable, if it is well moisturized, if you don't see redness, sensitivity, or changes of color or the new forming pigmentation, you are okay. You are out of danger. If you doesn't feel comfortable, it's still painful, it's still irritated, it's drier than it was before the sun damage. So autophagy didn't work properly, and you need the proper treatment. You need at least intense skincare for upcoming 2 or 3 months. And if autophagy is impaired, studies show that it leads to the degradation of collagen on the skin and the whole matrix degradation, and unfortunately, to the high risk of the cancerous transformation of skin cells. So autophagy in skin cancer is very complex. If it didn't work until the point that the cancer cells are formed, after cancer cells could hijack autophagy, and they could use the autophagy to clean themselves and to live longer, to maintain this activity. So our only hope in this situation, it is an apoptosis. But when the autophagy is hijacked, that's no one of housekeepers to call the HR to fire the cells. So the situation is double-edged sword, but for healthy skin and for the skin in the young age, autophagy is largely protective. But once again, older you are, bigger is the danger. Speaking about the ultraviolet and the pigmentation and cells death, we should mention hydroquinone. As you probably know, if you are beauty industry professional, beautician, skincare practitioners, aesthetic nurse, aesthetic doctors, you obviously know what the hydroquinone is. Hydroquinone, for many years, it was the gold standard substance for skin whitening. Nowadays, the use of hydroquinone is forbidden and banned in the European Union. Also, it's very limited in the United States of America. It's forbidden in Japan and in Canada. And this ban for hydroquinone will be larger and larger. And as cosmetic safety expert, I really hope that hydroquinone will be banned totally, despite its efficiency. Because honestly, nothing whitens the skin as well as hydroquinone. But the price to pay with hydroquinone is too high, because hydroquinone is a toxic substance which can activate cells death. So all this mechanism of actions of hydroquinone into the skin, it leads to the formation of toxic substances which we call cytotoxics. So they kill cells around them, not all of them, but the risk is quite high. And it leads to the melanocytes, pigment cells dysfunction, and to the loss of the part of the melanocyte population. And melanocytes, pigment cells, it's our first line of defense against the ultraviolet, against the cancer, against the environmental damage, and even air pollution, because melanin, our pigments, in the melanocytes and pigment cells, it is highly antioxidant. So it's not only about the skin color, and it was never been about skin color. It's also about control of inflammation. It is about the immune control of the skin, and it is about the management of ultraviolet damage and free radicals damage. So we cannot afford lose melanocytes, especially because we cannot renew them. It is very difficult, especially in the adult age, and I will say impossible in the older age. So hydroquinone pushes pigment cells towards cell death and loss. We cannot say that it is an apoptosis, because apoptosis, it is a healthy skin death when, as you remember, our HR with a Greek name apoptosis just fire hopeless staff members painlessly, without splitting and spitting inflammatory mediators and toxins all around them. When the cell is killed by the hydroquinone, that's a lot of damage in the extracellular matrix. So it is not only about the loss of pigment cells, which is bad enough, but it is also about intoxication of the whole part of the skin, leading to the premature aging and also to the potential high risk of the cancer formation. So we need a controlled mechanism of cell death, and we don't need uncontrolled chemical damage to our skin cells. That's why this cosmetic safety work and cosmetic safety expertise for new ingredients and existing ingredients on the market is so important. What is the role of the autophagy in skin aging? It is really big. It's one of the most crucial process. And actually, now it's hot topics in the active longevity conversation and in the biohacking community, because one who rules the autophagy will rule the aging process. Obviously, everything is linked to each other, so we need this healthy mitochondria to get enough of power, to get enough of electricity, so our small housekeeping team could hoover all the corners and every room in the lobby. But in the same time, this healthy housekeeping could keep everything clean and functional under control. So the autophagy could decline in skin in many ways. It can lead to more damaged power station, more damaged mitochondria, because when the autophagy didn't take off leaking battery from the skin, they start intoxicate the cells, they start to intoxicate the extracellular space, and we have less of energy. Also, it leads to the inflammation in the skin because there's overcluttered storages and the trash in the corners. Everything, it leads to the inflammation process, to the bad smell, and to the complete chaos in the skin. So when we see this defragmented collagen cluttering in the extracellular space, it's no place for the fresh collagen. So our skin is not strong anymore. We lose the elasticity, and hello sagging jawlines, hello formation of wrinkles, and as you understand, the different type of disturbance of the pigmentation. And it drifts to the whole intoxication and to the formation of what we call senescence. It is a polite name for our fresh and energetic staff members who age and just deny the aging. When the autophagy and apoptosis are not efficient enough, we have a lot of zombie cells accumulating in the skin. And what zombie do, if you've been watching at least one of the zombie movies, you understand that we cannot rely on zombie to work in shops or to work in the factory. All they could do is to kill everything around them. So autophagy influences literally all hallmarks of the aging. And it is one of the primary hallmarks which can define the characteristic of aging and can create this bad screenplay of the aging. It can even overcome the positive genetics. So mitochondrial dysfunction, loss of proteins in the skin, inflammation, senescence all become one because of the failed autophagy. So now researchers, scientists, and doctors, they are looking for ways to reactivate the autophagy. And actually the good news is that there are many ways. We can change lifestyle. Surprise, surprise. Once again, lifestyle could help us to maintain the healthy housekeeping and the healthy HR department in our skin, but also in our body. We could use different small molecules and nutrients to get autophagy better controlled and more active. We can use a skincare for the skin because there are some new ingredients which are proven to be able to activate the autophagy and cleaning process in the skin. So they literally could detoxify the skin on the cellular level. So let's see what we can do. What is the practical part and practical takeaway from this episode of the podcast? First of all, lifestyle. As you understand, all my epiphany about the ultraviolet leading to the conclusion that you should be careful. You should protect your skin from the ultraviolet. And every time when I'm speaking about sun damage and the ultraviolet, I insist on the importance of sunscreen, but also on the importance of your behavior. Because every time I see people coming onto the beach and lying on the sunbeds in the middle of the day, I know that they damage their skin very probably, irreversibly. Even if they apply sunscreen religiously, it doesn't help because no sunscreen could protect your skin cells 100%. Sunscreen, it is insurance. It is not a protection. It's not a space costume. So when sunscreen helps, when you stay in the shadow, you'll not expose yourself to the most intense sun rays during the day. So no sunny place from, let's say, 11 a.m. until 4 or 5 p.m. when the sun is high. And when the sun is not super intense. All the rest, you should use different layers of the protection. Clothing, you should stay in the shadow. And also the lifestyle helps to minimize the ultraviolet damage and helps to improve our natural ability to protect our skin from the ultraviolet. So, if you're exposed to the direct sun rays, you should sleep better and you should eat better because chronic excessive ultraviolet exposure, it's unavoidably leads to the skin cells damage. So you should take recovery time and you should be very smart about your protection. If you want to know more about the sun protection, please return to the episode about sun protection, which, surprise, I registered it earlier. Another point, it is a nutrition process. And when we are speaking about some type of longevity, we are speaking obviously about the healthy diet. If you eat junk, if you eat too much of sugar, if you are a fan of ultra-processed food, it's not the way for active longevity. Sorry, again, for the brink news. I know that a lot of people, they love it, but it is not healthy. It is not active longevity diet. What is the active longevity diet? In the first place, it is a diet which is rich of antioxidants because antioxidants help our cells to maintain the autophagy process and to maintain our HR department energetic and professional. So you should looking for colorful, fresh food. Natural vegetable pigments, they are antioxidants, especially red, orange, and yellow. So you should eat berries, you should eat fruits, you should eat colorful vegetables, and most of all, you should eat healthily and you should eat well. But the autophagy, it's not only about what you eat. It is about how and when you eat it. And what is very interesting, that's one of the best proven way to activate autophagy and to activate your cellular detox process. It is caloric restriction, so we should eat less, and fasting mimicking regimen of the diet, or easily speaking, intermittent fasting. There are a lot of scientific works about the intermittent fasting, and actually none of them are 100% sure about the right characteristic for everyone, human, because it is very individual. We have different circadian patterns, we have different bodies, we have different genetics. So what works for one person can be less efficient or non-efficient for another person. But what we understand now, in all mammals, the light caloric deficiency is beneficial for longevity. In the first place, because it is very beneficial for the housekeeping process and HR departments of our body. And in all mammals, larger intervals between food is the best guarantee of your active autophagy. So you should eat well, but also you shouldn't eat all the time. Actually, I lived in France for 15 years and I love so much the French approach to the healthy diet because it is not about the restriction, it is not about the limitation. French people eat literally everything. They love butter, they love meat, they love fish, they love desserts, as you probably know, and they cook it extremely well. but they eat 3 times a day without eating between meals. Only children could eat between meals without being oppressed by the society. If you didn't have time or opportunity to take lunch between 12 until 2, okay, you're hungry until the dinner. And actually, it is really good for your health. So think about it. Go French or go for some intermittent fasting system if you prefer it. There are a lot of them, like you eat 8 hours a day and you take a break for 16 hours a day. For me, personally, it sounds a little bit extreme, so I prefer French way. Another thing, how you promote autophagy in your skin. Exercise and sleep. I've been saying enough about sleep, and healthy long sleep allows repair and turnover processes. And also it's including all autophagy related pathways. So you should sleep enough to feel comfortable, to feel good in the morning. If your alarm just creates a panic in you, so probably you should change your sleep pattern. It is possible to do in many ways, starting from going to bed earlier and ending by changing something in your life, like job schedule. Because yes, your health is the most important thing. And to stay active, to stay healthy, you need to sleep. Good sleep, it is our protection from cancers, not only our protection from aging. And another thing, it is exercise. Surprise! Regular physical activity activates the autophagy in our cells, including skin cells. So if you are exercising every day, at least 30 minutes a day, if you do enough of aerobic exercises, if you do the strength training, you are detoxifying your body very efficiently. And as we live day by day, we should detoxify our body on the daily basis, not only working out twice a week, what is good, but still, physical activity, it is a daily basis of our health. So before we talk about skincare, let's admit, the best detox, the best autophagy stimulation, it is an oxygen, healthy breathing, healthy sleep, healthy movement, smart eating, and sun protection. So they are pillars of your healthy detox, not the green smoothie. Green smoothie may work or may not, but if you sleep well, if you move enough, and if you eat well, you are out of danger. What can we use in the skincare to activate autophagy? There are not a lot of ingredients, but nowadays a lot of research in this domain. So we have a few of new promising peptides in this area, which works quite well, activating autophagy mechanisms. And so they help to prevent skin senescence, zombification of the skin, and detoxify the skin naturally. These peptides, they're used now in the brightening and lightening skin formulations, as well in so-called anti-aging skin formulation. But we have natural autophagy activators, and they are well-known polyphenols. And in the first place, we should name Resveratrol. Resveratrol is proven to be efficient autophagy activator in the skin, and when you're using the product based on the resveratrol on the daily basis, you could really activate and control better the apoptosis process of the skin. So both of your housekeepers team and efficient HR, both of them love red grape, red wine, and resveratrol in the skincare. Just don't take too much of red wine. The measurement is a key. Also, the ingredient like Spermidine, which is new in the skincare. Actually, we are using Activator of Spermidine for many years in Meder formulation. We have this specific Lipo-Oval active serum, which helps to eliminate puffiness and literally detoxify the skin, and it's one of the very first activators of autophagy in the skincare market. We launched it in 2013, so it's more than 10 years we are using it with great results. But also these new peptides and even new probiotics and prebiotics, they are very promising in this domain. But still, resveratrol and partly niacinamide. Niacinamide is not the highly efficient activator of the macroautophagy, but once again, with a consistent daily use of the niacinamide and 6 months and longer, we see the better level of autophagy in the skin culture. So all of them, they are really good to promote the skin longevity, but also, at least in the theory, the use of resveratrol and niacinamide-based skincare, it can be one of the strategy to minimize the risk of skin cancer, especially for people in the higher risk groups, like people with very fair skin tones, Fitzpatrick first phototypes of the skin, people with unfortunate heritage of the skin cancers running in the family, and for people who cannot avoid the skin exposure to the ultraviolet. So please think about it. And absolutely, if you are the sun lover, if you're working out outdoors a lot, if you are living in the very sunny area of our planet, resveratrol and niacinamide should be regular ingredients in your skincare formulation. So, in active longevity skincare, we are moving from detox clay-based masks, which are not detoxifying the skin at all. I'm sorry. They're just cleaning the skin. It's not a detoxification. We are moving to the ingredients which scientifically proven to be helping with the cellular detox of the skin, which are proven to be able to support autophagy of the skin and reactivate the healthy stress response pathways and the healthy HR called apoptosis, rather than attacking the skin from the outside. So no aggression, gentle approach, and scientific, intelligent approach to your skin, it is the key. So, did I answer to the question, can we detox our skin and our body? Probably the answer is no, we cannot detox it from outside, but we could help our natural detoxifying cellular system be more efficient and stay more efficient during the many years of our lives. So our self-cleaning, our recycling process, our apoptosis if needed, there is smart retirement plans for our damaged and old cells. So they protect us from the acceleration of the aging and the skin cancer. So our job is not to find the new green smoothie or the new miracle cure. Your job as your healthy skin hotel management is to support existing inner process: sleep, movement, smart nutrition, sun protection, and smart, good quality skincare. Remember, resveratrol, niacinamide, and there will be new exciting peptides to activate autophagy. It is a key to the balanced and happy life of your skin cells and to the active longevity, not only for the skin, but for your body, because everything what you do for your skin affects your body as well. If you have a question about detox of the skin and body, please leave the comment. I will be happy to participate in this discussion. Let's discuss it. And please share, tell your friends about this podcast. I hope it will be useful. Thank you for joining us today on the Meder Beauty podcast. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an expert skincare tip. Have a question or topic you'd like for me to cover? Send me a message at podcast@mederbeauty.com and let's keep the conversation going. Also, you can visit mederbeauty.com and discover Meder Skincare, which I created. And if you enjoyed the show, I'd love if you left a review. It helps us refine the podcast and keeps us growing. Until next time, stay healthy, stay glowing, and take care of your skin.